Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Today we're gonna play some XCOM 2. I've been playing it a good amount this week. You know, just randomly got back into it. Normally, I don't care a whole lot for strategy games, I guess. But, I don't know, I really like XCOM. I think it comes off more as like a turn-based RPG almost, with a grid than like a strategy game. I don't know. For whatever reason, I really like this series. And War of the Chosen came out a while back, and I played through a campaign when that came out. I thought it was fantastic. And so this time I threw in a few mods. The big mod, of course, for the new XCOM games has been the Long War series. They had the Long War for the first game and Long War 2 for XCOM 2, but with War of the Chosen, they abandoned it. I guess they didn't update it. And so some people in the community have taken various aspects of the Long War 2 and made like individual mods that work with War of the Chosen. So I'm using a few of those that add a bunch of new classes and like abilities and stuff like that. Makes it even more interesting. So I've really been enjoying it. I do have a save that's pretty far in, but I know how well I play video games when I'm doing Hanging with Mangg. So to avoid screwing anything up, we're just gonna I'll just start a new one. Anyways, this week on this channel, we of course had some more Call of Cthulhu. I think I'm like over halfway done with that game. I don't think it's that lengthy. So I don't know if I'll finish it this week, but definitely by the following week. We've, of course, had Final Fantasy X. We've got plenty of that coming, so that's not going anywhere. And we had a huge dump of role-making stuff. So, yeah, rather than like making it like an LP and dragging it out, because I know it's not among my most popular content, I just decided, here you go, just take it. Just take it all and enjoy it. So, it's all there. If you're really interested in hearing me blather on about a science fiction role-playing game for 6.5 hours, you can watch that if you have not already done so. It's just this channel is really, my hobby. And so, I mean, it's certainly nice that I have people that watch these videos. I enjoy that people watch them and, leave comments and all that kind of stuff, and that's all good, but primarily, I just do it as a hobby that I enjoy, just recording stuff. And so, not to sound like an asshole or anything, but that's... Oh, I just shouldn't have moved him twice. That's sort of my primary concern. So, like, you know, I don't really know my point here, I guess. But, like, this week, I just randomly started recording my Metroid series. And it's like, I have no idea when I'm ever going to upload this. You know, my hard drive could easily crash before I ever get around to rendering and uploading this. And no one would ever see this. But that doesn't really bother me as much as it did, like, you know, 5-6 years ago. I think it's because 5-6 years ago, whatever, I really wanted my Let's Play, my gaming channel, I really wanted it to be a big thing. Which is an understandable thing when you start out. You know, of course, you want to get a lot of people to watch. Because that's why you're making videos and all that. Makes sense. But, you know, since I have the Exploring series now, and it's like, okay, that's the big channel, that's the work channel, that's where I get all the views and all that. I don't really care that much that this channel gets that many views, because it's just doing what you enjoy, which is really, you know, how you should start a YouTube channel. But like I said, I like that people watch, but it's not like it's not the main driving force of why I do this at this point. Again, not to sound like an asshole. I appreciate you guys that do watch Hanging with Mangg every single week. Menace 1-5, rendezvous at the extraction point. Anyways. Status confirmed. Squad is clear. So yeah, we've got more Call of Cthulhu coming, more Final Fantasy X. I was looking at, you know, the new game from the people that made The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker came out. It's called The Shape-Shifting Detective. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna play it or not. From what I hear, meaning from what I see on the Steam review page, it's incredibly short. Like 3 hours, from what people were saying. I mean, I don't know. That could just be someone rushed it. But I think I saw multiple reviews that said, like, the story just sort of, like, ends. Like, when this thing starts to get going. Here, this person says 4 hours. And that by itself is not, like, a disqualifying factor or anything. But, I don't know. I guess we can do it after Call of Cthulhu. I'll probably decide at that point if I want to do it. Because it's either that or uploading Doom 3. Because looking at the other stuff that comes out, you got like Fallout 76. I'm not even buying that, so that's a no. You got Hitman 2. I'm definitely getting that, and I'm going to play it, but I don't really know if that's a best LP game. Because I'm not really great at those kind of games, so it's probably more frustrating to watch. And like, those missions can take a long time. If I could fit one mission in one video, it would be great, but I just don't feel like especially since from what I hear in the second game now, the levels are even more massive than they were before. Like, they're just immense. So, I don't think so. So, yeah, it's probably between the Shape-Shifting Detective and Doom 3. But if I do the Shape-Shifting Detective, you know, it's only going to be like 4 parts or something like that, maybe 5. So I guess I could do that and then Doom 3. But, you know, since I have this huge backlog of videos, it probably would be good to keep those moving so that I don't have videos sitting on my hard drive for 3 years. But I don't know. Over on the Exploring series, we had a video on Marshall, Carter, and Dark. Got it. Oh. Whenever I do this, it always seems like ages ago that video was like released. Because for me, I finished working on that video like 9 days ago. And I've finished like 3 videos since then. So, yeah, that seems like a long time ago. But yeah, I guess Marshall, Carter, and Dark was released this week, along with SCP-173, which I thought it was a fine video. People seem to enjoy it. You know, I've been doing the premiere feature for new videos, so that you have sort of a live chat alongside the big first stream of the video, so people can join in and all chat together, and I can chime in and talk about stuff, and people seem to like it when they're in there. And overall, I really wouldn't have anything to complain about, but there's been a concept brought up. It was the YouTube channel Strange Parts, which is a pretty big YouTube channel. Certainly. Let's see how many subscribers they've got. They're just about to hit 1 million. They're at 996,000. So a big YouTube channel, and he said that he did a premiere for this really big video that he had put together. They had put together, you know, this big, like, 40-minute video or whatever. And he had decided to do a premiere, and during the premiere he said everything went great and it was all good, and it was fun to interact with people, and that's true. I like that aspect. But then he said that viewership for that video was apparently way less than what he expected, and like the organic growth or whatever of the video was way less than he expected, and he believes that the premiere feature, like the coding of it or something like that, negatively interacts with the suggestion algorithm that YouTube has, so that if you premiere a video, it does not get properly suggested to people the way that a normal YouTube video should. This is according to him. He has no basis for that. And people even in like the comment section of the video were like, well, I mean, I saw it, I just didn't click on it because it just didn't interest me. because the video was like about making an RFID tag or something like that. So these were his subscribers that were saying that the video just didn't interest them. So it could be that he's just off his rocker and he's just making up excuses for a video that just was not that interesting and didn't perform well either way, and he's just blaming the Premiere feature. That could be. And really, I just don't have enough data on my videos to say one way or another if the Premiere feature is, you know, responsible for anything. You know, none of the videos that I've premiered have apparently been recommended to a big degree. But, you know, it's only been like 3 videos or so. And, you know, not every one of my videos gets recommended like that. So really it's just too early for me to say, but it does make you question. Maybe he is right. And maybe it is messed up. And maybe I'm really actively harming my view counts by doing the premiere. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Quiet. Did you hear something?
You know, there's really no reason for me to premiere. You know, if there's even a chance that it messes up some suggestion algorithm. Because the difference between a video not being suggested and being suggested is massive. Like, we're talking like 5 times the amount of views. Which, when that's your paycheck, that's a pretty big deal. So, perhaps I should not do premieres if there's even, like, the slightest chance it's messing things up. Because while it is nice to have that little live stream for 10 minutes and to talk to people, that's not worth risking, you know, 5 times less amount of views.
Eyes on the prize.
Is what
I trust in your command.
it's what I'd probably say.
I am watching.
Now, a lot of people, like viewers, have been complaining about premieres on other channels because some channels are like abusing it almost, or misusing it perhaps. Like they are scheduling premieres like weeks in advance for like all of their videos. They'll have like 6 premieres scheduled up, and I've actually not noticed this in any of the channels I'm subscribed to. But like, I guess none of the channels I subscribe to have even tried premieres. I haven't seen any. But I guess when a premiere is scheduled for something you're subscribed to, it shows up in your subscription box. And it makes it look like they have a new video, but then you click on it and it just says, you know, come back in 6 months and you can watch this, or whatever, whenever they schedule it for. And so then it just clogs up your subscription feed with videos that you can't actually watch. I can understand how that would be pretty annoying. So I've been scheduling premieres like 5 minutes before they go live, so that when you click on it, it's like, okay, you can wait 5 minutes, and hopefully that doesn't piss off people. But yeah, I don't know. The suggestion thing definitely makes you wonder. You know, if one of the videos I premiered suddenly, you know, popped off and got a whole bunch of views, I wouldn't be as concerned. But right now it's nebulous. Right now it's nebulous.
On the move. To victory.
So, yeah, anyways. This week I worked on a video for SCP-4000. Yes, if you didn't know, they have that many SCPs. And it's a pretty wild one. It's very trippy. It's sort of got an Alice in Wonderland vibe, if Alice in Wonderland was in the SCP universe. But it's a little complicated. I can definitely see people reading through it for the first time, just not getting it. And so that's what I'm there for. So it was really like the first time where instead of thinking, oh man, I really hope I explained this well, it was more like, oh man, I really hope I understood this. It was pretty trippy, but I think I did alright. People on Patreon said I did alright, so should be good. I don't know how popular it'll be, because it's not in, you know, some survival horror game that Markiplier has played or something like that. But, you know, what do I know? Like I said, I cannot be... I don't know anything about what's popular or what's not. So we'll see. I just gotta put out the videos.
Nailed him. I'm going.
And then... So anyways, that's like a 21-minute video, which is pretty lengthy. But then I worked on... Well, it's not done yet, but I'm working on a video for SCP-1762, which is Where the Dragons Went. It's a very sad tale. It's a tragedy, really, which there aren't that many of in the SCP universe. It's not a common theme. This one doesn't really have anything horrific or spooky or action-packed or or comedic. It's just, yeah, here's something real sad. Now shut up. So yeah.
No problem, boss. Objective here.
I think it's nice. I think it'll be a good video. Sad is okay. You know, you gotta have some tragedies in life and in fiction.
You know that was good. Burn it through ammo fast.
Yeah, that's that. Okay, roll Mangg. So this week we had our last icon session. You know, when this campaign started, I had predicted we would get to 5 sessions before it ended. And I think we might have gotten to 5.
I can make it.
That might have been my fault. It's hard to say. Actually, you know, as a general rule, everything is generally my fault when talking about our role-playing games. I'm generally at fault. Maybe not always consciously, but usually just it's because I'm just a troublemaker, really. So We were in Metro City, which was pretty much in shambles at this point. It was classified as a disaster relief zone. It was no longer a city. The mayor had left. He was gone. And so it was just sort of bad. It was bad there. And I actually thought at the start of the session that we were going to go to a different city. I thought we were going to actually be going to a different city for like one more mission and get a start in a new place. But that was apparently not the case. I don't know if Ziggy... Yeah, I think Ziggy planned that we were not going somewhere, but he had implied last time, I think, that we were going to, so that's why I was confused. So we're basically in this shithole, and I'm like, okay, I'm moving my company's headquarters elsewhere. We're getting out of here. Take that. And Ziggy informs us that there is talk of a couple supervillains, some of our arch nemeses, that are still in Metro City causing some trouble. So one of them was the Bug Catcher, which was Thomas's arch nemesis, and one of them was Father Time, which is my arch nemesis. Because basically, Ziggy wanted to get all of our arch nemeses into the campaign before it ended. And so that's why 5 sessions would have probably made the most sense. But since this was clearly the last session, he bunched a couple of them together.
If we keep this up, the aliens don't stand a chance, Commander.
And so basically, the Bug Catcher was like... He was taking people off the street and turning them not into bugs, really. Like, he wasn't changing any of their biology or anything like that, but he was like forcibly dressing them up as bugs, I guess, or something like that. And so, you know, the Mantis, of course, was not happy with this. And so I brought up the concept right at the start of the session. I'm like, okay, what if we just take a big bug bomb and we just put it in the city, and, you know, we give the people of the city like a heads up, like, okay, in a day or in an hour or whatever, this bug bomb's gonna go off. You better get out of here. Because Calendar saw this as like a business opportunity. You know, we've got this city. It is a disaster zone. You know, the infrastructure, the foundation, it's all just fucked. But if it was empty, he could clear this out, and he could build a new city right on top of it. You know, a brand new utopia. And so this plan sort of developed over the course of the session. And so they were not too happy with this idea overall. They did not really support it.
I will make that our highest priority.
And because they were like, you know, why... Basically, they were like, okay, if you're telling everyone this bomb's going to go off, you know, all these criminals that are in the city now, they're just going to go to another city. And to Cal, you know, to my character, that was just like, okay, well, that's not my problem. And then B, if you're just going to tell them about the bomb, they're all going to leave anyways, do you even need the bomb? And then it sort of developed into, okay, well, what if we have the bomb, but we frame the Bug Catcher, and we say that it was his bomb? And so their plan was like, okay, well, you frame the bug catcher, but then you don't need the bomb to go off, because then you come off as heroes. You stopped the bug catcher from letting off this horrible bomb. And look, here it is. And Studs was like, well, you don't even need the bomb then. And it's like, well, okay, so we're just going to say, oh, the bug catcher, you had a big bomb, but it's nowhere to be found. You got to have the bomb. So I was insistent about getting the bomb. You know, no matter what I ended up doing with it, we're going to get a bomb. But of course, they were very against, almost universally, actually detonating this bomb in any capacity. Hold on.
Setting course for Sector 8, Mexico.
Commander, you should be aware. We're detecting lost activity in this area. Our forces will need to be especially vigilant.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, so yeah. So I needed a bug bomb. This was the term we used throughout the whole session. Some of them were kind of confused about a bug bomb. Basically, I just figured a giant device that emitted a massive cloud of poisonous gas. That was basically the concept. Something that would kill anything living in the city, but wouldn't, like, leave a giant crater. You know, I'm going to be tearing down all the buildings and everything anyways, but I didn't want a crater. Because that's just no good. So, this was something that I couldn't really develop in-house, apparently. I just did not have the facilities for it, and it really wouldn't look too good if I built this in one of my corporation's facilities. So I got in contact with a guy who was offering to sell one. So I got on my jet. I flew there. You know, just me and my pilot. That was it. We flew over to, I don't even remember where it was. Somewhere in the Mediterranean or something like that. Somewhere in Eurasia. I don't remember. It was across the pond. That's all that matters. And, you know, I don't trust really these people that are willing to sell a big bug bomb. So I don't land the plane immediately. I just stretch down there to see what I can see. The plane is just sort of circling overhead. And turns out that the people selling this bomb, living on this little island, are gang members, if that's what you want to call it, working with the Vatican, which is Studs' arch nemesis. And so this is a villain, of course. I mean, there's no real question about that. This is a character designed to be a villain. But he's got what I need, and he's willing to sell it. So I didn't really trust him. It was sort of a tense exchange. I mean, you know, I'm Cal Endar. You know, if I wanted to wipe all these guys out, I could. But I need this bug bomb. So we did a business. They wanted to, I don't remember how much he charged me for. It was like a few $100 million or something like that. And I'm like, okay, fine. Just give me my bug bomb. So we loaded it onto the plane. And I went on my merry way. And I'm flying back to Metro City. Meanwhile, they are trying to actually stop the bug catcher through conventional means. But they're sort of disorganized. For one, Phil's character, after this discussion about the bug bomb, he apparently saw in my character's eyes that that Cal Endar was definitely planning to detonate a bug bomb in the city. Like, he was certain of it. So he decided his best course of action was to try and evacuate as many people from the city as possible. So he went around the city, like, on foot, that seems reasonable, and talked to as many people as he could, telling them that somebody's going to detonate a bug bomb. He didn't mention me specifically or anything like that. He just said somebody's detonating a bug bomb. And so really it was like, pretty much it was just Mert and Thomas that were actively, like, trying to fight the bug catcher and stop him. Studs was doing some infiltrating stuff, but I don't know, he didn't really accomplish much before things came to a climax. So just two superheroes, neither one of them, like, you know, super powered superheroes. There wasn't a whole lot that they could really accomplish to take out the bug catcher in a limited time frame. But they're trying their best. And about 1 hour before I reach the city, I text them all. You know, no phone calls or anything like that. I text them all. And I say, the bug catcher is planning to detonate a bug bomb in 1 hour. Got it covered. That is what I say. So they all know what I mean, but it covers my tracks pretty well in case someone ever finds these text messages. So they immediately just start booking it. Like, none of them have any regard for anything else going on. They just start booking it. But I think Mert writes a message in the sky that says something like bomb about to detonate, or bomb detonating in 1 hour, run. That's what it says. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good, because it sounds like it might come from the bug catcher or something like that. So that sounds pretty convincing. Oh, that's shit. So they all hightail it out of there. But my plane flies above the city. At night, it would be really hard to see, you know, exactly who it is or anything like that. But the plane's flying above the city. I push the bomb out of the plane. And I sort of, like, stretch my arms along with it. And I, like, put a spin on the bomb. So it really, you know, it's accurate. I need it to just detonate right in the middle. And Mert apparently sees this bomb occurring because he's so perceptive. He sees this bomb coming down in my arms. So he decides to launch a fireball at the plane. I don't know why he does this. He just apparently felt it was right. So he launches a fireball at the plane, which I easily block with, like, a giant hand. Because I've got damage resistance 10. Like, he physically cannot hurt me with flames, but he tries. He tries. And so, of course, I vow revenge on his character, because I know it was him. No one else would be throwing fireballs. And so the bug bomb detonates in the greatest terrorist act ever committed on American soil. Apparently, I killed millions of people somehow. I thought they were all be gone. I mean, I knew I'd kill some people, but you know, it's like a cancer. You just gotta rip it out. You gotta rip it all out. So of course, my companions in the Racketeers were not enamored with my decision to commit the greatest terrorism act in the history of America. They thought that was not a hero thing to do. And so, Mert basically went into, like, hiding. He just became a drifter that, like, changed his appearance and just wandered the country, occasionally doing good deeds. And so, of course, I sent assassins after him all the time. But, you know, it's hard to say if they would ever succeed. He has superpowers. And Phil, his big plan was he gathered up, while he was apparently evacuating the city, he gathered together as many, like, mentalist people that he could find. Like, people with, like, psychic powers. Apparently these were not difficult to find. He found 6 of them while wandering around the city. He was apparently very lucky. So anyways, he has like 6 of these mentalists, because he himself is trained in that ability. And he apparently trained them specifically for one purpose, and that was to kill me. He had decided that I was the greatest villain in the world, and that I needed to die. And he was willing to risk his life, throw his life away, really, in order to kill me. Which is somewhat noble, if not really misguided. Because now, you know, my dirty deed was done. So I was planning on a lot of, you know, job growth. You know, we were going to rebuild this city. It was going to be a very prosperous time. A lot of people would be employed. It was going to be great. And there are far worse villains in the world than me. Especially because Father Time, who we had mostly ignored, was building a device that was going to kill off like 99.9% of the planet. So, yeah, it makes my shit look like child's play. But anyways, so Phil, he actually calls me. He calls my character. And he says, hey, I want to show you my mentalists and what they can do. And I'm like, you know, of course I'm thinking, okay, he's planning to kill me. Like, this is not subtle whatsoever. But I'll play along because I'm Cal fucking Endar. You know, I'm very overconfident. He's very overconfident. So, you know, I'm not too worried. And so this would be a fine plan, I suppose. To kill me, you know, with all these mentalists and stuff, because you can't really damage me physically too well. You know, my skin is just too stretchy. So a mental attack is really your best bet. So he had the right idea. Wow, that could have easily killed me. But, he had the right idea, but he made some mistakes. One, of course, he told me that he wanted to show me his mentalists, which is not something, you know, anybody ever says. So, already, I don't believe him. I know he has good reason to want me dead, because he made the biggest fuss about the bug bomb. He did not support any aspect of it. And then, instead of, like, ambushing me somewhere or luring me away from my security zone or whatever, he comes to my headquarters. He waltzes into my office, where I have 2 security guards just standing there next to me. And that's where he makes his big move to try and kill me. So, yeah, it was misguided. So he makes his big mental attack, which does succeed. His initial attack does succeed. Of course, he had all this power behind it. It doesn't succeed probably as well as he wanted it to, though. But I am affected by it, and basically he... He convinces my character that I'm experiencing, like, a bug bomb attack in the office. So my character thinks that there's just a room full of poisonous gas. And because I think that, it actually does, like, mentally hurt me. So I can go unconscious from the mental strain. Because none of it is actually physical. And so he, basically, we didn't actually, like, play this out. We could have gone through all the roles and stuff, but Ziggy decided to just be like, okay, say, you know, the 2 security guards are there shooting at him, and he says that he doesn't even really care about them because they are effectively innocent. And he's not going to harm an innocent, even though they're shooting at him. He's really just not a very bright character, I think, but okay. So, Ziggy's like, okay, so you're getting shot at. There's a, you know, high threat response team on the way, you know, coming down the hallway. Because, you know, he's in a billionaire's headquarters. There's going to be... Especially because I'm a superhero, so I'm extra... I try to be extra secure. So really I should have had more security, but... We had not gone over any of this beforehand, so it would have been cheap for me to just be like, oh yeah, I have all this stuff, so he's dead. So it was whatever was just reasonable on hand. So Ziggy was like, okay, you know, you're gonna... he's like, it's very likely you're going to knock him unconscious. You know, you're going to knock Cal Endar unconscious in his office. But there's 2 security guards that are shooting at you, and a team on the way. He figured that all of the mentalists would be dead pretty quickly, because they're just going to take a bullet or 2, and then that's it. So he's like, okay, you're in the office, Cal Endar is unconscious. This was really, at this point, a hypothetical scenario. But that's sort of how we played it out. So I really had no agency here, but that's okay. So I'm unconscious, he's in the office, he's being fired at. He really has time for like 1 or 2 things before he just dies. Just pumped full of bullets. And so Ziggy decided that my stretchiness was not active when I was unconscious. I guess, since it's not... Why did I send the VIP? Okay, well, there you go. My stretchiness was not active when I was unconscious because it's not like an innate thing. It's not like Reed Richards where it's some cosmic radiation that has just affected my physiology or anything like that. We still have no idea how to explain it, but apparently my character is just trained in stretchiness. aided with some sort of gadget or something like that, but it is effectively natural. Not like, you know, it's some sort of training or gadget. It's not part of my base physiology. So he decided, okay, I'm not stretchy by default, so my damage resistance does not count when I'm unconscious. And he can, you know, he can make me go unconscious as much as he wants by putting all this mental strain on me. But, you know, when I'm unconscious, that does nothing. I'm just going to get up and that's the end of it. And he wanted to kill me. He wanted me dead. And so he did have another power that he could use, which was like a blast. It was just a blast of like concussive force, which would do damage to me, certainly. But his power was not powerful enough to kill me in one shot, because I had 8 stamina, which was pretty good. Studs had like 5, so I was feeling pretty good about that. His power was just not good enough. Even if he used determination somehow to boost the power of it, which I don't think is allowed, because really you only use determination to affect rolls. Even if he did that, it still would not be enough to kill me in one shot. And all he had was the one shot, because then he was going to get filled with bullets. And there was a window in the office, but of course, this is the window in the main office of a billionaire public superhero. So this was, of course, the thickest glass known to man. And he was not going to break through that either. So he decided to just grab me. And, like, hold me hostage for a moment. So, you know, the high threat response team comes in. He's got, like, you know, 8 guns pointed at him. It doesn't look too good for him. And he decides he's just going to blast me with full force, like, right in my neck. And I think he was hoping that my neck would just, like, snap or something like that. But unfortunately, it's not enough to kill me. And so Ziggy declares that once I do that, he gets filled with bullets and just dies. And I live, but I have a kink in my neck for the rest of my life. So, like, one of my stats went down by 1, but since it's the end of the campaign, that doesn't really bother me too much. And so I wrote down in the history books then that this individual, he was actually an alien, Phil's character. He was a terrorist. You know, he tried to kill this very well-known hero. So, yeah, I further shit on his life goal there of trying to kill me because I was such a villain. And so, of course, no one ever knew the truth of what I had done. I built up a utopia. And I convinced the Mantis, Thomas's character, I convinced him to become my head of security. He was unsure at first, but he wanted an entire army of, like, people dressed like bugs. He apparently really liked that idea. And so I said, okay, we can do that, but you have to be a very public face from now on. Because if I just randomly, you know, have a bug army, questions are going to be raised. But if I have the Mantis, one of the racketeers, who is the head of that army, it makes more sense. It's like, okay, yeah, this is one of the racketeers, you know, just deal with it. It's the bug army, whatever. So, you know, I needed some superheroes around me to feel comfortable. So he became the head of security, and I started looking for other superheroes to make up, you know, the League of Justice. And Phil was dead. Mert was drifting, you know, across the country. Nowhere to be found. And then Studs was sort of operating on his own as a lone superhero. And he was looking into the Father Time business. Not because he wanted to stop it, but he wanted to work with Father Time to kill Kal Endar. To kill me. Everybody wanted me dead. Except for the Mantis. Because I had done something so heinous. I mean, hey man, sometimes you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. You know. Talk to any great leader, I'm sure they'll tell you that. So he wanted to work with Father Time to kill me, but you can't kill me. It just doesn't happen. To my knowledge, no player character has ever succeeded in killing one of my characters. I chalk that more up to ineptitude than, like, I'm so good. But, because, like, in this last example, in the office, like I said, I had no real control over anything that occurred there. He was just really inept, and so he failed. But he found out that Father Time was really fucking insane. And by far the bigger villain, because he was planning to build this arc, this device, that would build, like, a bubble of time over the entire planet, causing everything to age immensely. Except for, like, his one little, like, home space, where you could have his loyal subjects that didn't age and could just watch as the planet aged. That was his goal. So almost everything on the planet would die. But this was his goal. So when Studs heard about this, he's like, fuck. And he knew that he couldn't stop Father Time himself. He knew it. He knew it. And so he had to do the thing that he dreaded most. And he had to message Kal Endar for help. He did it cryptically and anonymously, so I didn't know that it was from, you know, his character. So basically I just got this cryptic anonymous text that something was going down in this one location related to Father Time or something like that. I suspected a trap. You know, people clearly want me dead, so I didn't even go. I sent the Mantis and, like, a platoon of bug soldiers, and they just went in there and fucked everything up and stopped the whole operation. So it was all good. Yeah, so, you know, it's like that, it's like that quote, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I guess it's kind of like that. I mean, from the beginning, I didn't really plan Kal Endar to be the best of heroes. You know, we were called the Racketeers, and I demanded money from every job we did for the mayor. And we repeatedly joked that we're not villains, guys. So, I mean, there was a reason that joke started. You know, power corrupts. And when you combine the power of vast amounts of money with rulership, with superpowers, yeah, it's a tough mixture. It's likely to lead down a dark path. You know, Kal Endar, of course, justifies everything he did to that city. You know, he's very pleased with his new utopia. If I had to guess, I would say he wouldn't plan on doing anything that diabolical ever again. But the capacity is within him, so I can't rule it out entirely. It was an interesting 4 sessions. That combination of stretching and affliction, aging affliction, I did not anticipate being that powerful, but it was fun. Yeah, things sort of got wild there for a little while. So they were saying, like, oh, you know, if we ever come back to Icons, we should play in a campaign world where Kal Endar is like the supreme ruler. You know, he's like the emperor, and he runs the empire. I don't know if that's the case because we never go back to a campaign world ever. So it's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, he certainly probably would expand his empire beyond just one city. He desires power. So that's how we ended Icons. With 3 of the 5 player characters trying to kill one of them. One of the player characters. That's how it goes sometimes. Mangg, do you have another channel? First watch you when playing WildStar. Did I have another channel? I have 2 channels. This channel and the Exploring series, which is technically titled Mangg, I think. And that has a lot of... That channel has a lot of old Let's Plays and gaming videos that are now unlisted. If you go through the playlist section on that other channel, you can find a lot of stuff, because that lets you still see some unlisted videos. But yeah, those are really the only 2 channels I had, aside from like Mangg Food. Anyways, so tomorrow... hopefully we're going to be starting, well, not starting, we're going to be doing a one-shot of Stars Without Number. I'm going to be running it. It's a pre-written one that's been shared on the Stars Without Number subreddit called Free Reign. And hopefully it should just introduce and teach the game to a group of people. So it's got like hacking in there, it's got ground combat, ship evasion. You know, it tries to incorporate as many of the basic rule systems as possible. So it should be a fun time. I'm just throwing out pre-generated characters because we didn't have time to generate them, and I just want to sit down and just sort of go, because I want to finish it in one session. Because next weekend, on Friday, we're all heading up to a cabin on like a lake. It's part of like a sort of a water park, but it's a cabin, and we're all gonna head up there for the weekend. We're gonna have some alcohol, a bunch of food and snacks and just good stuff. We're gonna play a bunch of board games, and we're gonna start a Stars Without Number campaign run by Ziggy. So I'm really looking forward to all that. So the care gen for that and the first session, I think I'm going to try to record. I'm going to bring along my laptop and the webcam and stuff, and I'm going to try to record it and then upload it when I get back. Because, I mean, the rest of that campaign is going to be streamed normally, but I don't want the first session missing. So that's the basic plan. So yeah, that should be a pretty good time. I guess that's about it. So, check out the SCP-4000 video tomorrow. Check out the 1762 video later this week. We got more Final Fantasy X and Call of Cthulhu. That is the plan. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.